for the term limit of the president and other elected leaders to be extended from the current 5 to 7 years, as proposed by the Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, a referendum will be needed, and a majority win is what the Constitution stipulates for that to be achieved, for that extension to be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, despite of William Ruto, the president, trying to distance himself from this bill, clearest indication will show you that secretly Cherargei is not on his own mission. This bill must be having a very good support from the State House corridors. So I know that for better part of the last 2 weeks, the country have been talking about impeachment. And even this channel, we have really been focusing our eyes on Rigathi Gachagua impeachment. But I just realized that this is also a very sensitive and very important discussion that the public really needs to be enlightened in terms of what exactly is going on. And that is why I've decided to look at this deeper. So in this podcast, we're going to look at my argument that William Ruto and the State House team are the forces behind that term limit. Kindly support our channel. This month, we are doing granny care. And our granny care are these 3 elderly women you are seeing here. They come from Nyandarua. So we decided this time round after Kilifi that we do granny care in Nyandarua. Granny care we support by building shelter, kujenga manyumba for the old and the very old. So these are our elderly members of the society from Nyandarua, Kipipiri constituency. They stay in a refugee, not in a refugee camp, in squatter camp. But of course, the houses were washed away when it rained during the recent floods. So they had some makeshift structures. Now those structures, those houses are not in a very good shape. And even you can look at those photos, they're not in a very good state. So they don't have the support system. That was the criteria. This was linked by a senior teacher from the region who is a member of this channel, who said I've also been extending some support to them, but of course will not be enough. So they said, what I'm told is, pick those ones don't have the family. Don't have a very good support system. In fact, one of the shows stays there na grandchildren of watoto wake msichana hayuko died. So he stays there with the grandchildren, and it's a very devastating situation. So we are going to build them the houses from Tuesday to Friday. I'll be in Nyandarua to make sure that we can deliver and make sure they can do those 3 houses. That's why I'm reaching out on behalf of you on 100 Bob Challenge. Kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba. And thank you very much, because we started this yesterday midday. That was on Saturday. On Friday midday now, and I'm shooting this video at 10. We've already had 77,000. Yes, so we are not so far. I think now it was 150, now 77. That's how many? That's 50, 173. Yes, so, but we'll start the construction on Tuesday. So kindly share in, be partake of this, and I'm really glad some of us have also issued, some have also issued some 5 iron sheets, and you can also issue in kind. If you come from that area, we'll also be glad, because it's all for that mission. So kindly, I also want you to hear a snippet of them. Yeah, well, I think I have some 2 sound bites you can hear from them.
Hii ni Meharate Gishagi. Ninaitwa Juguna Kamande. Na nilikuja hapa 63. Na mimi nakaa peke yangu. Sina na watoto, sina bibi. Hata watu ndio wanasaidia mimi.
Majina ni Alice Joki Kinyajui. Nakaa hapa kutoka 1960. Mimi niko hapa, tunaniko na tapu ya nyumba.
This discussion about term limit is not new. It is not new to us as a country. It started with the Fafi Member of Parliament 1 year ago, last year in February. Salah Yakub made it clear that him with some other MPs are already coming up with a bill to extend the presidential term limit, and he said it. And immediately after that, there was a statement, there was a proclamation a rebuttal from the president when he told off the MP about it. I want us to listen to the two.
Mimi na wabunge wenzangu tuko na mjadala inaendelea saa hizi, na mjadala yenyewe na tunataka kuambia Wakenya ya kwamba mambo ya 2 terms haiwezi kutosha sisi. Tunataka mjadala yenyewe ikuwe ya umri. Mtu akifikisha 75 ndio hawezi contest. Kabla hiyo anaweza contest. So tunaambia mjadala ama terms ama requirement ya constitution ya presidency ikuwe ni umri ya mtu ambaye anagombania kiti, na umri yenyewe ikuwe 75, sio term 2, term 3, term 4. Kwa vile mainchi ambazo zimeendelea kama German, Michael alikuwa pale miaka karibu 20, Australia yako pale 2013, Norway yako alikuwa pale miaka 4, kila mtu miaka 5, 6, 7, 8. Jana tuliona rais wa Sri Lanka ambaye anapelekwa kwa kiti ambayo kusoma ni shida, anatafuta muhula yake wa 5.
And everybody is free to say everything they want to say, but I also want to say that while enjoying that freedom, and I will not ask anybody not to say whatever they want to say, but on matters changing the constitution, I want to tell you that the discussion on changing the constitution for parochial, selfish, personal matters is no space to go.
So that was last year. And he said it, even though it received condemnation, that MP was really condemned. There were all manner of, I saw Osoro condemning that MP, saying DA does not think about along that line. There was other people, there were I think even Kimani Chungwa, and the UDA party even issued a statement. How can it be a coincidence that a year later, Samson Cherargei, the Nandi senator, is talking about the same bill in the Senate? How is it? The Nandi senator is talking about this bill in the Senate. UDA understands more about these bills, and I want to show you that there is more than what catches the eye here, unless Wanjiku and Wanjiku is being played here. So my first argument is this, and I want us to make these 5 observations. The first one here, the choice of the sponsor of the bill. The sponsor of the bill is Samson Cherargei. Cherargei, in the recent few days, has been seen as a man going against the grain. In fact, he was perceived as someone who is supporting the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. He had a bone to chew with Oscar Sudi. He also had an altercation with Kipchumba Murkomen when Kipchumba Murkomen was in transport. And recently, during the Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, he was one of the Kalenjin senators that was coalescing around the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Until the time the voting was happening in Senate, Samson Cherargei shocked the country when he voted to support Rigathi Gachagua impeachment in the Senate. So the choice of the move of the motion is keen, because the country, if you see Cherargei, you will tend to believe that you cannot associate Cherargei with Ruto, but that is not it. Cherargei is a very close ally of President William Ruto. And you should not be blinded by that observation that he was pro-Rigathi. No. In fact, amongst the most that were dispatched around Rigathi to manage this impeachment, one of them, if you ask me, was that Cherargei. So, and the choice of the move of the motion is already telling you that they've picked someone who looked like a rebel, looks like a UDA rebel, but in real sense, the rebel image is a smoke screen, and they want this discussion to go on. Now, what I'm saying is this can be entertained by the president to achieve a different political objective, not necessarily to amend, but there is an objective that they want to achieve. Towards the end of that, I'm also going to look at that. Now, the second observation I want us to make is when he was talking to the media today, Cherargei talked about this extension, and he said that what he is proposing is not new, because the Nadco team that was chaired by both Raila and Ruto team had thought of this, had put this in that Nadco report. So he's saying it is not new. This is something that if Nadco was to pass, it was already in Nadco. Now, who bathed both? I want us to listen to that soundbite
of the official opposition leader, so that we have a structured oversight within parliament. At the moment, you're having only majority leader and minority leader who cannot have the ability of oversighting the government of the day. So we want that office of official opposition leader to have necessary resources, office, cars, capacity, so that they can oversight the government of the day. And I thought that would be very, very important. On the issue of a term limit, which Kenyans have proposed, have opposed, it is important that I've heard Kenyans, others are proposing 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. I'm proposing 7 years. And many people forget and fail that this thing I'm mentioning was in Nadco report. I think people don't read the reports. In the Nadco report, they have proposed a similar extension of term limit. My reasoning is very simple. Kenya, we have perpetual political mood. Even as we talk today, it is 2 years into elections. But the campaign mood and the politics that is happening across the country, you can imagine we're having elections next week. So one is to create time for delivery. Number two is to stop this aspect of campaign electioneering period for the 5 circle years. I can tell you for the remainder of this year, you will see politics. Next year, you will see politics. That will be the third. And you only have 5 years and it will be hard. I know in American system, many people don't know. It is 2 years for midterm of congressmen and women, 4 years for the president, and 6 years for the senators. What I did in the Nadco report, they had proposed 6 years for senators, but I'm proposing average of both MCAs, governors, women rep, the president, and senators to have that opportunity of service. That is the thinking. And also many Kenyans forget, and I don't know, that elections are very expensive. If you can see the pending bills of IEBC, it is still more than 4 billion as we talk today. Carrying an election in Kenya cost almost 100 billion to do an election. That 100 billion, if you are doing it after every 5 years, that 100 billion would have used to improve share, to improve bursary, to improve roads, to improve infrastructure in the country, to provide better health care. But we are using almost 100 billion in 100 billion Kenyan shillings. And you have to remember that elections of Kenya is always the expensive in the region. In fact, it's one of the expensive. In fact, media, you can do the research and share with the public.
So, if you listen to that, you'll realize what I'm saying, that it is not something new. And even if the president is coming out publicly, I've seen, I think when he was talking in Turkana, he said he's not going to accept it. But how is it that it got its way in Nadco? The framers, the two people that were behind the Nadco were Raila Odinga and William Ruto. So how is it that this is actually part of what was in Nadco? So it's just being pulled to be amplified. In fact, this bill is not something new to the UDA. Even if you look at the way UDA MPs are talking about it, they're not so much aggressive combating it. Of course, there are those who, when you look at the public participation that was done in Bomas, even taxpayers' money was spent for public participation in this bill. Then you want to tell us that it was just any other bill. No, there was an objective that was captured by the movers of this bill. The other third observation I want us to make is this. Do you know, 2 years after that 2022 general election, we still don't have a fully constituted IBC? If Kenya Kwanza wanted to constitute IBC, or let's take it easy. In 2023 August, a bipartisan team was made. They came up with a proposal. And then they came up with that report, that bipartisan report by that Nadco report. This Nadco report, for the last 1 year, this Nadco report was supposed to be finalized and passed in the National Assembly so that it can pave way for gazettement of the panel to select the new IBC commissioners. Do you know that document is still lying idle in Parliament? While currently as we speak, the majority leader, the minority leader are in the same side. There are other bills, they have taken 14 days to expedite the impeachment of the Deputy President Rigathi, while deliberately the IBC, the Nadco report that was supposed to pave way for empanelment of the team to appoint the new IBC commissioners has stalled. Even recently, I think last week, there was a court order on the representative of the minority party in that commission, in the panel to appoint the new commissioners, was actually expunged from the list, and they were told to go and pick another person. Today, none has picked. Now, IBC, we still don't have IBC, and I've been saying there is a well choreographed attempt to ensure that IBC is not constituted. Raila Odinga between 2013 to 2017 talked about IBC reforms. And you can remember the zeal and the push for the IBC to be reformed. There are pending by-elections that are yet to be done. They're still pending. None is talking about IBC. Now, the crippling of IBC, and when the US was, when America was, the US ambassador was meeting the Hossein Marjan, that going CEO of IBC, they said that the democracy of a country is at stake because of what is happening at IBC. Why is it that the Kenya Kwanza administration, even with the broad-based siblings, that is the best thing, the broad-based siblings are not keen on constituting IBC? Now, the Waki report said, if I'm not, I think I'm quoting the right one, said that a commission should be constituted at least 3 years before an election, so that they can have ample time to bond in the office and to prepare for the election. Preparation for the next election is supposed to have started by now, so that it's not just up to last minute is when we are going to court with all manner of court cases and injunctions about an election. Now, if there is a constitutional provision that we are supposed to do boundaries delimitation after every 10 years, we have crippled IBC because of our own political unhygiene locally here. So IBC does not have the capacity now as we speak to do boundaries delimitation. Someone will go to court some few years and some months to general election, say that IBC cannot be allowed to conduct a general election if boundaries delimitation is not done. And through that, just through a court injunction on that, using that law, we might end up extending. Ladies and gentlemen, I tend to believe that what we have seen is not new. And while the public will be made to believe that that is just Cherargei just talking from the moon, that is not it. To some extent, in fact, if you ask me, and this brings me to number 4, ODM party, which is supposed to be the opposition party, and UDA, To me, they are not strongly opposing it. The only person I've seen today issuing a statement is Sifuna. Let's listen to Sifuna's statement.
Unajua pale bunge kama soko lingine lolote hakuwezi kosa wazimu. Kuna wazimu pale, siku moja anaamka analeta mswada ambao hauna mbele wala nyuma. Anasema ati anataka yeye amechaguliwa miaka 5, anataka kujiongezea ati miaka 7. Na nataka niwaambie leo kama katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, huo mswada hauna uungwaji mkono kutoka kwa seneta ama mbunge yeyote wa ODM. Kwa sababu mimi kama katibu wa chama najua kwamba tumeridhika na katiba yetu ambayo inatupa miaka 5 kama watu ambao tumechaguliwa. Baada ya hiyo miaka turudi kwa wananchi, kama umefanya kazi uongezewe ingine, upewe promotion ama ufutwe kazi. Kwa hivyo nataka niwahakikishie chama cha ODM kitasimama na wananchi. Hii mambo ya kuleta miswada ambayo ni kukasirisha wananchi tu, wengine wanatafuta clout, wengine wanatafuta uungwaji mkono na umaarufu ya social media. Mtu analeta mswada ambao hauwezi hata kuwa supported na mtu yoyote. Na mimi kama kiongozi ndani ya Senate tumesema tunaenda kugeuza sheria za bunge la Senate, ya kwamba ukileta mswada ambao unapelekea kugeuza katiba lazima uattach signatures za wabunge zaidi ya 200 ndio tuweze kuleta hiyo mswada hapo mbele. Mimi nawahakikishia wakati huo mswada utakuja mbele ya Senate, Cherargei atakuwa na kura moja peke yake. Tumeelewana hapo? Kwa hivyo msiwe na wasiwasi. Nataka
na ndio kwa maana mimi I'm also refusing the idea that our term of office be extended by 7 years. Hiyo tumekataa, si ndio? Ile mambo ya Senator Cherargei likes drama all the time. We are not ready for drama. We are saying 5 years is enough for leaders to perform. Sawa sawa?
Kumekuwa na shida kubwa ya ukosefu wa usalama Kenya hii. Kule Nairobi tulipata msiba mkubwa sana, mama na watoto wake 2 wanachinjwa kama kuku. No one is safe. Walimu nataka niwaambie no one is safe until all of us are safe. So we continue to call on the police kuhakikisha hao watu wanafanya hii mauaji wameshikwa.
But that is for the rally. That is for the rally. They're supposed to call and give a position. And in fact, according to me, that bill is supposed to be silenced. Why should we waste taxpayers' money even to process such a bill, knowing very well that that is against the spirit of our constitution? Even especially at this timing. The issue is about the timing. Now, why do you think that bill had to come at the time the country is talking about Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment? Why do you think? This is already a bill that was somewhere. It is in whose interest for the public to be dissuaded from Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment? You can make your guess. It is the interest of Kenya Kwanza administration on how they are managing Rigathi Gachagwa impeachment. Can it be a coincidence that if indeed this bill is supported by Rigathi's camp through Cherargei, then they want to dissuade the public from the current impeachment proceedings? If there is something that Rigathi Gachagua would want, is this impeachment story to be the story of the day for the next 2 years. So you can see that while the people that are plotting Rigathi Gachagua impeachment wants to dissuade the country, they've picked this as one of the tools. And you can see the way this has been captured. And I tend to believe that if the state was against, if William Ruto is against this bill, I think it's a phone call away to call Cherargei and ask Cherargei, I don't want to hear that thing, can you stop and do other things? And the story will end there. He has that capacity. So to that end, the timing of the bill to dissuade the public from the impeachment can also tell you who Cherargei is working for. Lastly, I think the Senate system stalled on the public views the day they were doing public views, and someone is saying that probably they didn't just want to connect those negative views. Now, two things I'm seeing two objectives here. The president and the team want to test the waters. They just want to test the waters. They want to hear what the people can say, and they want to start people to start thinking about it. And the tragedy of it, guys, is this. The country is in a very dangerous situation, because when we want to say that we can oppose some of these things, we can oppose some of these draconian laws and amendments, but when the young people of the country came out and raised their voices, the dead bodies are found in rivers and thickets and their houses. So that space has been shrinked. I just don't know how you will fight this, even if you were to fight it, because those who are supposed to fight it are not going to do it on looking at how quite a number of them have been handled. It's upon you to think about it. But to my end, it's a highly guarded secret. Contrary to what the public is being told, that I am not interested in that bill is from State House. Thank you.